Hi, everyone. So nice to be back and to have you here, to welcome you here. Welcome to the Spirit Guide Show. I'm excited for today because this is a topic that a lot of people wonder about. This week, we will be talking about how to differentiate between real spirit guide communication, your imagination, and hearing voices because of a mental health issue or seeing things. But if it's about a mental health issue. By the end of the show, you will know the difference between mental health issues, making things up in your own head with your imagination, and real spirit guide communication. And also how to know which camp you fall into. In the second part of the show, we will be doing mini readings. So I will connect you with your spirit guides and give you any messages they have for you. And in the third part of the Spirit Guide Show, we're going to do a Q&A, so then you can ask me questions about the topic for today or generally about spirit guides, psychic phenomena, anything to do with that. My name is Jamila Munja, and I'm a spirit guide medium, Hay House author. I'm writing the book right now, and founder of Spirit Guide Society, which I'll be telling you a little bit later. And you can find me at thespiritguidemedium.com, and I'll post that in the chat in case someone hasn't found my website yet. So let me know in the chat, have you ever wondered if, like, the psychic experience that you had, if it was a message from your guides, or if it was just you making it up? You having a vivid imagination. Just type yes or no in the chat. I'm curious. And I'm guessing that most of us have. I have, definitely. That's normal when you are new on this path. Like, it's so new, you're like, I don't know, is this real or not? Am I making up? Or am I just crazy? So let me see. Sherry says yes. Karen says yes. Amy says yes. Ray says yes. Sue says yes. Eileen says yes often. Yeah, see, and that's why I'm doing this today, so we're all clear about this and don't have to wonder about this anymore. Also, I see that Hiro asked everyone where you're from. Awesome. Hiro's from Japan. Amy's from England. Yay, I'm going to move there next year, Amy. Ray is from Singapore. Never been, but always wanted to go. Sue's from North Carolina. I have a good friend in North Carolina. Karen's also from England. And then, hi, Sherry says hi. Awesome. Jessica asked, when in England am I going to move to? Either to Brighton or to London. I want to move to Brighton. My fiance wants to move to London. So maybe we're going to move somewhere in the middle. We'll see. Then we have Sherry from Denver, Colorado, Eileen from Albuquerque, Melissa from New York, and Gwendolyn from Maine. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. So also, while you're at it, like sharing where you're from, letting me know if you've had this experience, share this with anyone who might be interested in this topic. There's a share button somewhere around here, depending on where, if you're on your laptop, desktop, or on your phone or iPad, but it's somewhere around. So just click that button and like invite your friends or share it in the Facebook group or anyone that you think might be interested. That would be awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, we stream live to Facebook and YouTube as well. Come on over to my website or Crowdcast. The link is in the description, either below or above, depending on where you're watching, because only here can I give you a reading and only here can you ask questions. If you have any tech issues, just reload the page. That usually solves 99% of the problem. So if you can't hear me, can't see me, reload the page. And if nothing helps, then switch to Chrome or Firefox, because the Crowdcast is the best on Chrome or Firefox. All right, so let's dive in, right? So how do I know that my experiences aren't a sign of mental health issues? That's the first one we need to cover. So a 2015 study from Harvard Medical School found that 5% of the general population experience seeing, hearing things that are not physically there, that other people can't see at some point in their lives. So at least once, 5%. Other studies talk about 28% of people who've had this kind of phenomena. So somewhere between 5 and 28% of people have had this happen. And while like these people are stigmatized here in our Western culture, or at least I'm in a Western culture in Spain, such phenomena can be like an important part of some people's religious and spiritual beliefs, like ours. We believe in spirit guides. We believe that we can talk to spirit guides and that they can give us cosmic mentorship, help us develop our spiritual abilities, and help us live with purpose every day, right? So it's a spiritual belief for us that we can communicate with them and that you don't have to be crazy to do so. And many people regard them as positive part of their lives. Again, I think it's positive that I see things and hear things that other people might not see or hear. And a famous example would also be Carl Jung, who had regular conversations with his imaginary friend, Philemon. I'm not sure about how he pronounced it, but during his adult years. So, and he was like a psychiatrist. So, of course, he would have known if he was crazy or not. And of course, like this can also be a sign of psychotic disorders, such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, major depressive disorder, or PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. So this sometimes when you hear voices, see things, it can come from these mental health issues. Or there are other reasons that this could happen. For example, Parkinson's disease, narcolepsy, dementia, brain tumors, and epilepsy. These are not mental health issues, but they can also cause hearing and seeing things that others can't. But statistics say that these only account for 25% of people reporting such phenomena. So of these 5 to 28% of people who have these phenomena, 25% also have mental health issues. And just because they have mental health issues, again, doesn't necessarily mean that what they hear and see is related to the mental health. It could be. So symptoms of mental health issues and problems, schizophrenia in particular, are that it usually starts between the ages of 16 and 30. It starts with a gradual change before obvious symptoms start. It includes delusions, so that you say Jesus Christ, or that you're a famous actor, or that you can fly, or you think the FBI is out to get you, these kinds of things. Then also confused talk that doesn't seem to make sense is a sign for mental health issues. Movement disorders, so you start moving differently than you would have before the symptoms started. So you make the same movement over and over again. Or you become catatonic and you just don't move at all anymore. Lack of pleasure is another symptom for mental health issues, schizophrenia in particular. Trouble with speech, so that you can't form sentences, other people can't understand what you're saying. You can't follow other people's thoughts as well. A dull, flat-sounding voice. Apathy, again, that you stop doing things altogether. For example, not bathing or taking care of yourselves. General lack of interest in daily life. So you stop eating, you stop drinking, these kinds of things. Suicidal thoughts and behavior. And if you don't, well, yeah, and that's the last one that I had. So these are the symptoms for mental health issues. If you have these symptoms and you also hear voices or you see things, then it's a good idea to go to the doctor and get it checked out. If you don't show any of these symptoms, you are probably fine. And I'm obviously not a medical professional, so I just like looked this up myself, taught myself. If you think you might have like one of these symptoms or more, then please go see a professional. If you go try to find a professional because you really want to make sure that like there are no issues there, try to find one who's spirit friendly. So someone who knows, like, who realizes that in Western culture there's a huge stigma around it. Someone who knows that there are lots of people who have these phenomena without being crazy. Someone who has a spiritual side themselves. So they don't automatically tell you, okay, you need to go check yourself in. That's important. Now, how do I know that I'm not just making things up with my imagination? So we ruled out, like, okay, we have mental health issues or not. And now how do I know that I'm not just making things up with my imagination? And let me first check the chat to see if there was anything going on. More people joined, awesome. Sherry says, I'm frozen on her screen. Well, reload the page. That usually helps. Unless everyone else has the same problems. If it's just you, reload the page. That usually helps. All right, so again, how do I know that I'm not just making things up with my own imagination? You might have, because you're a sensitive person, you're an intuitive person, you probably have psychic or mediumistic abilities, otherwise you wouldn't be here. You have probably also been told as a kid that you have a vivid imagination, and that might be true, but that doesn't mean that like it's just your imagination when you have psychic phenomena happen to you. So also, imagination and psychic ability are closely linked. So it is often through the channels of imagination that psychic ability emerges. So don't completely dismiss your imagination. It's important. It's important to train your imagination to develop your psychic abilities, your intuitive abilities, your psychic abilities, your mediumistic abilities. Symptoms that you are imagining what you're experiencing are thoughts, and this is a good one, thoughts starting with I versus you. So if your guide is talking to you, they wouldn't say, I should meditate more. They would say, you should meditate more, right? Because they're talking to you. So thoughts that start with I are your thoughts, usually. So that's a good one to see that. Then if messages are based on fear, not love, it's your imagination or your own fear, basically. Your fear that uses your imagination to scare you. There are exceptions. That's when you are in danger. We all heard the stories of angels or other beings helping people in danger. But the difference is, like, if they help you out in danger, they tell you, stop the car, for example. It will be very clear, like the message will be very clear, and it will be a solution to the problem, not something that makes you even more agitated, more fearful. They would never say, you're gonna die. They will say, stop the car now, because they want to help you. Then also, it's your imagination if the message makes you feel bad, if it makes you feel discouraged, or if it belittles you. That's, your guides would never do that. Again, that's your own fear speaking, usually. Then the other thing is also thoughts of worst case scenarios without a solution. We talked about like when you're in a dangerous situation, but also, for example, your child goes to summer camp, and you keep having this feeling that she's going to be in an accident. Without like a solution to the problem, it's usually your imagination. Your guides wouldn't do that to you. What's the point? There is no point to that. Then also, if the message asks you to have faith in its accuracy, but doesn't make any sense to you, like it doesn't speak to you, you don't feel like, oh yeah, this makes sense, none of it, then it's your imagination as well. Also, if you've been thinking about a topic all day long, and then you get a message, it's very probably your imagination. If it's not your imagination, it's usually something that comes out of nowhere. Like you've been thinking about, I don't know, like washing the car, and you get the message that you should go to the party tomorrow because you're going to meet someone. Then it comes out of nowhere. You haven't been thinking about it. So that's a really good one also to recognize it. Then it's also your imagination if you have been trying too hard. Like when you can really feel like you're trying and you're going like, and then something comes, it's probably your imagination. Because when you get real messages from your guides, it's a passive state. That's why it's so important to meditate regularly, because it teaches you to be passive and to be receptive instead of being active. Then also, if it feels forced, again, if you're trying too hard, if it feels forced, it's your imagination. And then the last one, it's a very like practical one, rich, quick schemes. So some people like the lottery. Is there a chance that your spirit guides might give you the lottery numbers? Maybe. Is it very likely? No. So if you get like these things like this, it's usually your imagination. And then we get to the last part, how to recognize real messages from your spirit guides. So this is the last option, that it's your real spirit guides. And you will recognize if it's your guides if it appears out of nowhere. Like I said earlier, you haven't even been thinking about it, and then suddenly, boom, you get this information, you hear something, you see something, and also like hearing and seeing, again, I have to mention this again and again and again, this is not always outside of you. It can be like inside of your own head. You see something with your mind's eye, you hear something as if it's your own voice. That's just as valid as seeing something outside of you. Anyway, I'm veering off here. If the message repeats itself again and again and again, it's usually your guides because they want to get the message through to you. But, oh, I forgot to check the chat if there was anything. Jessica says, Jamila, I heard that Alzheimer's and dementia is a sign that someone is not accepting their time is near. Could be, but I don't know if I subscribe to the belief that when we're sick or when we're going through hard times, that it is always our fault, that we are doing something wrong. I think we're careful with that, but I think, yes, it could be possible. Brianna says, psychology and spirituality go hand in hand. Yes, I think so too, absolutely. Kendra says, how do you not let fear block your abilities? Guys, we'll answer these kinds of questions later. Let me finish this part first. How to recognize real messages from your spirit guides. So, like I said, repeating messages. Oftentimes your spirit guides will repeat the message if you don't act on it right away. Then also, right when it happens, you know it's real. it's usually only later, sometimes just a few seconds later, but later, that doubt sets in. But in the moment that it happens, when you know, like in your gut, when you just feel that this is real, that this is like not made up, then it is real. If it feels natural, it's very similar. If it feels natural, if it doesn't feel forced, then it's your guides. Also, if like the vision or the dream is like more vivid than usual, it's also usually a message from your guides. If the message makes sense for your life, like the situation that you're in right now, if it makes sense, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. If I do this, maybe that would help. Then it's usually a message from your guides. If you can verify it in some way, so for example, you have a dream that your sister is gonna win the lottery, and then she wins the lottery, it's probably not made up. You didn't make it up. Also, if it takes you a while to come back to reality after the experience, like even if it's just a few seconds, but it feels like you were somewhere else, that's usually a sign that it was your spirit guides and you didn't make it up. If the vision or what you hear or whatever it is service oriented, so it's helping you to help others, to make this world a better place, then it's your spirit guides. If it has a general central theme of helping yourself or others and has a positive impact on your life, then it's safe to assume it's your spirit guides. Or even if you make it up, then it's still a good thing. Also, again, if it's like a positive and empowering message, it's okay to assume that it's your guides. If it feels like someone else is talking to you, even if it sounds like your own voice, then it's your guides. And oftentimes it does sound like our own voices because we can't differentiate yet between like the subtle differences. But it somehow feels like it's not you. It comes from somewhere else, like it comes from here or whatever, or just like in an energetic way, it comes from somewhere else. That's a good sign that it's your guides. If the message relates to current challenges or questions that you have, again, if it makes sense to you, then it's a message from your guides and you didn't make it up. Also, this is a good one. If you see something, you hear something, you smell something, it's and you can't change it, then it's absolutely not your imagination. If you, the thing is like, because it's coming from the outside, it's not coming from you. If it was coming from you, you could change it. If like your guide was wearing a green hat and then you make it gray, if you try to make it gray, but it's still green, it wasn't you. Then also, if the message comes with a signature or calling card, like your spirit guide's calling card, and this could be something like you feel a wave of love, or like you feel a wave of like being blessed. It could be that you feel it's really safe. It could be like a pleasant smell. It could be that the air pressure or energy around you changes. It could be that you get really hot or really cold, and that it's both. Get like this really being cold does not mean that there's a negative entity. It's just like we all have different ways of recognizing when spirit entities are around us, and being really cold, getting really cold is one of them. It could be that your like nose starts tingling. And I always like tell you about this example. Lisa Williams, world famous medium, her nose starts running when she feels spirit around. A little bit inconvenient, but that's how she feels it. So it can be all kinds of little signs. Some people feel a hand on their shoulder, or they feel like someone is like stroking their face. Like everyone has like this signature calling card, and it takes a while to figure it out, but once you figure it out, you know then, like when it happens, oh, it's my spirit guide. I'm not making this up. And that's why I highly recommend meditating, calling in your guide and asking them for the calling card. It's one of the first steps that I teach my students to do. So that's it. These are the either where are these messages coming from, mental health issues, imagination, or really your spirit guides. Question, do you feel confident that you now know the difference between those three and which camp you fall into? Type yes or no in the chat, just so I know. Otherwise, I'll follow up with this somehow. Or I can answer questions later. Karen says yes, Amy says yes, Brianna says yes, Kendra says yes, Rashida says yes, Nicole says yes. Awesome. Is there anyone who's not clear about this? Feel free to type no, there's nothing wrong with that. Brianna says your higher self always knows. Absolutely. If you're connected to your higher self, you know what that feels like, then yes. Okay, awesome. Then let me check the chat really quick to see if there was anything. Brianna also says, if it's out of love and light and it's wise counsel that you notice it's beneficial and see positive results, it's your spirit guides. Yes. And even if it wasn't, I mean, if it has positive results, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. Matthew asked, what about snakes in my mind's eye? There's nothing wrong with snakes. That's just like what we project onto that animal. Obviously, like a lot of that comes from like Christianity. There's nothing wrong with Christianity. We have these images that were used back in the day that snakes are evil, that snakes do all kinds of things, but there's nothing wrong with snakes. In other cultures, snakes are sacred animals. Snakes represent wisdom. So it depends on how you feel about it. And then you need to think about, let's say you feel bad about it. You feel fear when you see snakes. That could have all kinds of reasons. For example, that you were brought up religiously, or that you were once bitten by a snake, and like fears that have nothing to do with like if it's a real message or not. It's just like your own ego that brings up the fears. And if you can identify, why do I feel fearful? And you can identify if it's you because it comes from your childhood or from religious upbringing or whatever it is, okay, that's just me, and you can work through the fears. If it feels more fearful without you having fearful like thought attachments to snakes, then you want to like maybe ask call your guides, because your guides would never harm you. Call your guides and ask them to like protect you from any negative influences. And then you can just carry on like talking to them. I hope that helps. Brianna says, I get wise counsel from then I get confirmation in tarot. Yes, that's a good one too. Getting confirmation like with tarot cards or other divination tools. When you get a message, you're not sure, get a divination tool. Doesn't matter which one it is. Tarot cards, cowrie shells, whatever you're into. And draw a card or throw your shells or do whatever you need to do and see if it confirms the message. Thank you, Brianna. That was definitely a good one. Also, yes, if there's a lot of synchronicities happening after the message that confirm the message, same thing. She also says, and you just feel its sense then in dreams, and then sometimes hear confirmation from outside yourself. For example, folks, and then repeat message in a book or TV. That's all examples. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Mario says, thanks, Shamila. Now I understand more about the voice I heard from time to time. Awesome. I'm glad. Brianna says, goosebumps or orbs too. Yes. Snakes mean transformation. Yes, in some cultures it means transformation. Eileen says, been seeing spiders for the past 2 days, checked my tarot, and there was a message there. Spirit animals rock. Absolutely. All right, so where are we? Right, so sorry, I lost the plot. So let me know, like, what is your biggest takeaway from what you learned? Like, what was the most eye-opening for you to make to let you know, oh, okay, I'm making this up, or this is really my guides? Let me know in the chat which of these like things that I mentioned, which of the symptoms, which of the signs did make sense to you the most. I would be interested to hear that. And while you answer that, if you want to learn more about spirit guides, and if you want to use your connection with your spirit guide to improve your own life and create real change in the world by helping others, I'm in the process of building a community for spiritual seekers, light workers, and spirit workers to receive cosmic mentorship from our spirit guides, develop our spiritual gifts, and live with purpose every day. And we'll go, like, in that community, we'll go on a like modern day quest. And that quest is about to design a better world for everyone with the talents, skills, and gifts that we have, and with the help of our spirit guides. And we're going to do that with like ceremonies, DIY ceremonies. We do them to connect with our guides and get their help, and practical action steps. So if this is something that sounds interesting to you, if you want to be part of a community that like learns to connect with their guides and then use that connection to make our world a better place in like little steps, one step at a time, then click the button below where it says get help connecting with your guides, and you can sign up for the wait list, and then I will let you know once we open Spirit Guide Society again. And I would love to have you there because I think like people like us, we can make a change. We can make changes. We can have impact in the world and do our part instead of just like living our lives for ourselves. And you get to learn how to connect with your guides, obviously. So while you do that, we are, oh yeah, I asked you guys a question, so let's see. What was like the sign or symptom that helped you understand if you were making it up or not? Rashida says recurring signs. Okay, awesome, yeah. Gwendolyn says smells, sudden voice. Kendra says dreams are where I get the most messages. Yes, a lot of people do. I sometimes have them, and every time for me, when I know that a dream was like more than just a dream is when it was very vivid, and when I feel like when I'm waking up, that I'm like kind of like as if I was underwater and have to swim up to the surface, and it's almost hard. It's almost like something is like dragging me down, and it's like coming out of this. Then I know it was a like really a dream that's not just a dream, but with a message, psychic experience. Karen says, when the messages resonate with you and is repeated, yes, totally. Brianna says, can you find out who your spirit guides are? Yes, but it's a like huge topic. That's what I'm going to teach in Spirit Guide Society. And that's why I do readings for people, so I can connect you with your guides. We're going to do that in a little bit, and I also do one-on-one readings if you're interested. Gwendolyn says sudden voice. Oh, we already had that. Eileen says it's been 2 years of learning a new spiritual language, creating and observing and practicing. Exactly. Connecting with your guides is not something that you do in a 1-hour workshop. Well, you can, like some people can, but for most of us, it's like just like any other skill, any other talent that we have. You need to practice and practice and practice, and you need to learn the technology, how to do it, and that takes time. Roshida says, I'm interested. Great, then find like that green button that says get help connecting with your guides. On the desktop, it's laptop, it's like right underneath here, my face. On your phone, you might have to scroll down a little bit. So see if you can find it. Matthew says, aren't ancestors banned by God? I'm not sure. According to which religion? I've never heard that before, and I wouldn't know why. Why? I mean, there's nothing wrong with ancestors. We're all going to be ancestors. We're all going to die at some point. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I'm not a like religious person. I'm not Christian. So if that is the background, then I don't know. You would have to ask someone else, or maybe someone else knows about this. Let us know. Anya says, yay, community. Awesome. Exactly. I think like we should do something as a community, not just me teaching you guys. I mean, that's nice and that's fun, but let's do something together. So we actually do something with this knowledge. We actually bring it out into the world. We actually live our purpose by like doing something, by helping others, by helping the environment, by connecting with nature spirits and ask them what they think we should do about the environment and so forth. And that's what I want to do. Like we're going to do ceremonies every month around a certain topic. During that ceremony, you're going to connect with your guides and we're going to ask, what can we do? And then we go and do it. And then we come together and talk about it. Like, what did we do? What was our like experience, etc. Anyway, Gwendolyn says, this has helped me a lot because I always question if it was me or wishful thinking or crazy. Yeah, that's why I did it, for people like you, Gwendolyn. Brianna says, oh my God, yes, just with one ripple makes huge changes. Imagine all of us as one. Exactly. Rita says WrestleMania. See, I'm not sure what that means. You will have to explain that. Yes, we're a team. Gwendolyn says, what about visual faces within the thing you are looking at? Like the clouds, you mean? I think that's totally normal because, and our spirit guides use, like we said, like earlier, our spirit guides use our imagination to talk to us. It's a good thing to look at the clouds and see imaginary things because they're not always imagined. Seeing faces in rocks, for example, or in the water, that can all be messages from your guides. Pay attention to how you feel around it. Do you feel like suddenly like you're getting hot, you're getting cold, you're getting like the what's it called? When your skin starts tingling, when your nose starts, whatever it is, like the signal that you know, oh yes, this is real, this is like a psychic experience. When you get that, trust it. All right, we'll answer more questions later. Chills. Thank you, Gwendolyn. Thank you. What would I do without you guys? So what we're going to do now is mini readings. So, and how this works, if you want a mini reading, and I only do mini readings for people who haven't had mini readings before, type newbie in the ask a question section. So that's right below here, below the green button. If you're on a laptop or desktop, if you're on your phone, you can click on view chat. I think that's on the bottom. Oh, wait, no, there's like a little menu on the bottom of your phone. There's one with a question mark, like a little button with a question mark. Click on that. There, type newbie. So I know you've never had a reading from me before and you want one. In the meantime, here are some things that you need to know before we can do the readings. I have my own definition of spirit guides, which might be different from what you are used to. I try to be, what you are used to is like the definition that comes from spiritualism, which is that a spirit guide is basically a dead person. Doesn't have to be a relative. In fact, most spiritualists say it can't be your relatives because you knew them in real life. But it's someone, a person who has been on Earth before as a human being. However, I think that is like too reductionist, too small-minded a little bit, because when we look at like people around the world, they work with all kinds of beings. Some people work with angels and get messages from angels. Some people work with ancestors. That is like something that is very common in Africa, for example, and around the world, really. Native Americans, First Nations people, indigenous people around the world work with ancestors. And there's people like the Dogon in Mali who say that the beings that help them are from the Sirius star system. So they're star beings. So like when you look at the world, there's more to it than just like these people that were once humans and died and now help us. So I want to like make this whole topic a little bit more inclusive and more global. So my definition of spirit guides is that any kind of being that's from the higher realms, to us in unconditional love, wants to help us on our spiritual path or in day-to-day life, is a spirit guide. So that includes angels, it includes ancestors, the ones that you might have known in life, or the ones that were maybe 10 generations back, 100 generations back, thousands of generations back, nature beings, elves, fairies, gnomes, and whatever name they're known under around the world, star beings, that could be physical aliens, so people who live on other planets or beings that live on other planets. In this case, when I do readings, they're mostly non-physical beings. That's why I don't call them aliens, but star beings. And also because when people hear aliens, they think about scary Hollywood movies, and that's not what I'm talking about. Then there's ascended masters, who were once humans, but left the reincarnation cycle and are helping from the other side. There's gods and goddesses, deities from around the world, and different deities from around the world, and last but not least, animal spirits. So these are the 7 types of spirit guides that can come through for you when I do a reading for you. Also, we all have a team of guides. So the one that has the most important message will be the one to step forward. This might be one that you already know. This might be one that you don't know. And then the most important part is you get the message that you need to hear, which might be different from what you want to hear or expect to hear. So you need to be a little open-minded about this. By the way, the other day, someone sent me an email and told me I was a fake because I was wearing headphones. And she thought that while I was giving her a reading here, I was connected to someone else, and that other person was hacking her ancestry DNA files. I have no idea how you can hack ancestry DNA, but I took it as a compliment because it must have been good information that I gave her if she thinks that I hacked her ancestry DNA results. So I was happy about it. But anyway, I'm wearing these so I can hear you guys clearer and I'm not distracted from sounds around me. Just FYI. So where was I? Right. So let's see. I'm ready for mini readings. And again, don't post it in the chat, post it in the Ask a Question section. If you're on your computer, it's actually literally says Ask a Question. If you're on your phone, there's a little question mark that you can click on. And then type newbie, nothing else. Like, I don't want any questions right now, just newbie. All right, so we're gonna go with Karen, and I'm gonna invite you on screen. I forgot to mention that. I'm going to invite you on screen. You'll get a little notification that asks you if you're okay with that. Then you get on screen and I will give you your message. I'll invite a few people at the same time so we can like do this fairly quickly. And be aware, this is obviously like public. There are 30 people online, 90 people have signed up, other people might sign up. So if you want like this to be private, then you need to book a private session with me and not get online right now. Anyway, so I'm gonna invite Karen. If this scares you, just don't accept the invite. That's totally fine. I'm gonna invite Victoria and Amy and maybe one more, Brianna. All right, so let's see if someone, like I said, you guys get a little notification and you can say, yes, I want to do this. Okay, if no one's here yet. Also, if it doesn't work out, then you probably don't have the technical, we have someone. But anyway, what I was going to say, in the emails that I send out, the invites for the show every week, there's a link in there. Actually, it says important, please read. There's a link in there that lets you test your phone, your computer to see if this will work for you. So next time, if it doesn't work today, come back, try that. So we have 2 people here. I'm gonna first mute Brianna, and I'm gonna first do Karen. Hi, Karen, can you hear me?
Yes, fine, thank you.
Okay, awesome. I can hear you too. You're from England, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, awesome. So, all right. I'm going to close my eyes because it helps me focus. No other reason. My head goes a little bit to the left usually because it feels to me like I'm kind of listening, even though I'm not clairaudient. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense, but that's just how it works for me.
Right.
And then it takes a few seconds, up to 30 seconds, and then I'll tell you whatever I see. Are you ready?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. All right, there's an angel here for you. It's a female angel. And she's telling me she wants you to take yourself more seriously, to sometimes not be so timid, to trust yourself and really step up in the sense of like, put your shoulders back, put your head up, and step out into the world with confidence and really believe that you have something to give, really believe that there is something you can contribute. And yeah, stop hiding a little bit. She says you're hiding. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see what she looks like so you can tell you a little bit. Okay, I have no idea what she looks like this. Maybe it makes sense to you. She's dressed like a farmer girl. So she has like, she's an angel. She has the big wings, but she has like, I always forget what it's called. Like these jeans that go up like.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's wearing those, and she's wearing like, it's like a shirt that's like sleeves are rolled up, and she has like a flower in her mouth. Oh. And she's laughing. I think she's laughing about me because I don't understand what she's saying. But let's see. Why is she dressed like this? She says it has to do with enjoying the moment, letting go, not being such a perfectionist. Mm-hmm. And it feels like this has to do with like a positive memory that you have of being like on a farm or being outdoors or something like this. Would you understand that?
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Let me see if I can get a name. Hmm. Sabrina. Her name is Sabrina.
Okay.
Yeah, and she says again, like, be confident, like, do your thing. She says there's something that an opportunity for you that's either already there or like coming soon, and she wants you to be like ramp up your confidence so you actually take that opportunity and go for it.
Oh wow, that is 100% accurate.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, that's her message for you today. So I hope you like take that and like take that opportunity.
Yeah, well, I was offered another job and I was a bit scared. I was thinking, oh, don't know, I'll stay where I am.
No, go and get that job.
Okay, lovely, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Bye. All right, let's see, Brianna. Let me unmute you. Hi. Oh, you're still muted. Oh, yes, now I can hear you. Hi, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for coming and letting me do a reading.
I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, let's see what I can get for you.
Okay.
Right, there's an animal spirit here for you, and it's a dog, and it's I'm not sure, like looks a little bit like a boxer. He's like, and I already said he, so I guess he's a he. He's black, mostly black, but has like the front paws. I think the two front paws are a little white, and there's some white here. Yeah, I think that's about it. And he is talking about, and a lot of like dog animal spirits talk about this topic, loyalty. And he says, loyalty is important to you.
Yeah.
But he also says either like you've had negative experiences with loyalty. Either someone wasn't loyal to you, or like you for some reason weren't loyal to someone else. But he says generally, like in your heart, loyalty is important to you. When you decide someone is your friend, like really your friend, not just an acquaintance, then you expect loyalty and you are loyal. Would you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You also expect people to stand by you in difficult times, and that hasn't always happened for you. There were people that like disappointed you because there were changes, and they were like, nah, I don't want anything to do with you anymore because XYZ. Is that something you have experienced?
When it comes to yeah, I mean that's been my story. Is a lot of I'm always loyal to a lot of people, and when you're in my inner circle, it's like Meet the Fockers. Like once you're in my inner circle, you're family. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. And so he's. Let me see. What's his name? Well, he has a very typical dog name. He says his name is Rocky.
Rocky is cute.
Yeah. And he says the most important thing is to be loyal to yourself. So
right.
if you for example, have a certain desire, if you have a certain goal, if you want to accomplish something, if you then you need to be loyal to yourself and actually like go after it and do it. And disappointments in life around loyalty can stem from like not being loyal to yourself. It's not always that's the reason, but it can, because if you're not being loyal to yourself, the outside world will reflect it back to you. So he says,
law of attraction.
yes. So he says, like, pay attention to where you are maybe not, and this doesn't have to be a huge dramatic thing, but where you're not like being loyal to yourself in some form, not loyal to your own values, for example, or not loyal to your own beliefs, or really think about this a little bit and see where this could apply in your life.
Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Tell Rocky I said thank you.
Oh, you can talk to him yourself. He totally hears you. No problem. He also says he's with you for protection. Most dog animal spirits are also like protectors. So whenever you need a protector, you can call on him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any messages about love for me?
What's that?
Do you have any messages about love for me?
Okay, let me check real quick. He's laughing. He says that's not really his department. You would have to go and ask your angels about that.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, we have different guides that are like talk to us about different topics that guide us in different topics. So he might not be the right one to ask about that. All right, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
All right, and then we have Victoria.
Hi.
Hi, Victoria. Where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles.
Oh, okay, awesome. So let me see what I can get for you. They're making me, I can't see yet who it is, but they're making me remember something that I experienced in Los Angeles, actually. And that was when I was 12 years old and I visited the US for the very first time. I landed in Los Angeles. And the minute the plane hit the ground, I felt like this huge feeling of being home. Even though I had never been there, I didn't know anything about like the US, but I knew, wow, this is home. And every time I'm there, I feel at home very much. So they're making me remember this. And sometimes when they do this, there's a message behind it. So I'm like asking them, why are you showing me this? All right, so this is a nature spirit. This is a fairy. It's a female fairy. She's mostly like her colors are green, turquoise, bluish in that direction, a little bit of purple. She actually, like, her skin's like almost greenish. Not like because she feels sick or anything, but like it's a nice greenish, almost like sometimes elves are depicted. But her wings are more colorful, and she looks very Disney-like with a little cute dress, like a dress made out of a flower. And she's talking about finding your way back to who you are at the core. She says at the moment, almost as if at the moment you're a little bit confused about who you really are, or you're confused about where you want to go, and you're not sure how to make decisions because you're not fully in your center. Would you understand that?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. She says, it's about coming back to who you are, like rediscovering yourself, because if you know who you are and you know, like, again, like what your values are, what your belief system is, then it's easier to go out in the world and make decisions and take opportunities and all this good stuff. So she says that's what it's about a little bit. So let me see if she has any advice on how to do this. Yes, connect with nature, even if it's just like a plant at home. If you don't have any, get some. It's also, you could hang, if you have any pets, spend time with your pets, physically, like pet them. Because she says outer nature reflects our inner nature. So if you spend time in nature, it helps you come back to your own nature inside. She also says, if you can, instead of like taking pharmaceutical drugs, try natural things. For example, if you can't sleep, don't take a sleeping pill. Do some research, find an herbal tea that helps. Anything that brings you back to natural in whatever form will help you to go through this transformation, because she's saying you're actually going through a transformation. It's not that you're lost or anything like that. It's more that like a part of you that like you didn't need anymore, you let it go, and now a new part of you emerges, a new you emerges, and that can be confusing. She says, again, like connecting with nature, connecting with plants, connecting with animals, really consciously breathing in fresh air if possible, spending time at the sea, these kinds of things, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, help you to bring out like your new self, your true self again. Let me see if she has a name. Belle. So like, but French, so that's like, I'll type it in the chat for you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Belle. Okay.
So that's her name. And I think actually like the dress like made out of flower is like from Violet.
Violet. Okay.
So if you see violets, that's also a sign for you to think about her and connect with her.
Okay.
And that's not just when you see them in nature, but if you see them on TV or someone mentions them, or there's like you see them all the time or something like this, then you know, that's her, she wants my attention. And then when that happens, just look around, pay attention to what's happening outside of you and inside of you, and there's a message somewhere in there. Is there anything else? No, I think that's it for today, for now. I hope that helps you and supports you on your path forward.
It definitely helps. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. All right, so what time is it? Oh, it's already 6:30. Oh my God, we're totally too late. But 6:30. But I'll still do questions. And next time, I really need to make the teaching part a little bit like shorter. I always get carried away and like go off topic and stuff. But let's answer questions if you have any. So if you have a question, actually just type it in the chat. I will see it. Just type it in the chat. And I will see in the meantime if in the ask a question section someone already had a question. Okay. Any questions about what we talked about today? Any questions about how I do my readings? Any questions about spirit guides in general? Feel free to type them in the chat. I'm super happy to answer them. Karen says, I'm doing a Celtic studies course and just discovered there's a myth about Sabrina, who was a water nymph said to inhabit the land and waters near River Severn. The Roman name for the Severn was Sabrina. Awesome. That makes perfect sense now, as that was the name you got. There you go. Perfect. Eileen asked, How long has it taken you to start feeling better about your progress? Good question. It was a little complicated. So when I started seeing things was when I was 26. That's 18 years ago. And I did not believe in anything like this. I was raised in a scientific household where my parents only believed in what they could see and feel and touch. And I didn't believe in anything. But then one night, my spirit guide physically appeared in my bedroom. And so I had to start believing. There was no other way. So, and since then, like over time, I had several beings appear in front of me. Like I had 3 aliens in my bedroom as well, and I saw a troll, and, well, not a nice troll, not a bad one, in Barcelona, like jump out of the ground, and I saw all kinds of things. But it was always like it happened here and there, but I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, okay, great, but what do I do with it? And I just went about my day. And then in 2015, I realized, hey, wait a minute, I can do something with this. There is a purpose to this madness. So, and that's when I started developing, like consciously training, developing my psychic and mediumistic abilities. And I'm still doing that. I started doing readings pretty much right from the start because I got a download from my spirit guides that said, start doing readings, even though I'd never done any before, and I was super nervous about it, but somehow it worked out. But so basically, it started when I was 26. It took like a long time until 2015 until I realized that I could do something with this, and then things like went really fast. Yeah, that's how my story is. Aline says it's been 2 years and I get frustrated at my progress. Yeah, sometimes it's different for everyone. Like I said, I mean, up to this point, it took me 18 years from when I first had my first experiences. But then people who start like developing, oftentimes it takes years. Like one of my teachers, Gordon Smith, it took him 7 years of developing, like weekly training, weekly going to a class that taught him how to do it. And then he was ready to go out and do readings. For other people, it can take just a few months. It's very, very different. Don't get frustrated. Go to different kinds of teachers so you can see it from different angles. Sometimes it's just that like the teacher has a different way of experiencing these things, and you think it has to be the same way, but for you it works differently. And then you go to another teacher and they say something, you're like, oh my God, that's it. And then you're up and running. So have faith, trust yourself, work with your expectations. Like, don't think it has to be like this person sees it, or it doesn't have to be like this. Try to find your own way of connecting with the spirit world. And that's another thing I really want to make sure that we do in Spirit Guide Society when I reopen the doors, that we each find the way how it works for us. I don't want to tell you this is how it is, and then this is just how it is for me. It might be different for you. And I want you to help you to like find your own way. I hope that helps a little bit. Second question from Eileen, do you have any suggestions on how to not block our guides and be more open to receiving? I don't think it's possible to block our guides at all. I think we block ourselves. And that is oftentimes, like I said, through expectations. A lot of people think clairvoyance is if you see like a being or something outside of you in 3D. Yes, that is part of clairvoyance, that is objective clairvoyance, but there's also subjective clairvoyance, which is like really fleeting images, visions. You could be sitting on the train, or you could be in your car, or you could be having breakfast, or you could be playing with your kids, and suddenly you have this like flash of something, and usually we just ignore it because that's what our culture teaches us to do. Our culture says that's just my imagination, and so we ignore it, and the more we ignore it, the more it like becomes like subconscious, and we don't even notice it anymore. But so yeah, work with your expectations. I think that's the main thing. Then the second thing is trusting yourself. Always trust yourself. Whatever comes through, as long as it's positive, assume that it could be right. Never assume that it's not possible. Never assume that you made it up. Put it that if you had 3 drawers, one says, this is definitely my spirit guides, this is definitely not my spirit guides, and one in the middle is the maybe. If you're not sure, put it in the maybe. That makes sense in your mind, in the sense of like, oh, maybe this could be something. I'm not sure, but I'm not going to dismiss it right away. And that helps a lot as well. So like, trust yourself. Look at your own expectations. And Mariel says, thanks, Jamila. I see, feel, heard, etc. A lot from 10-year-old until now, but still do not always understand what they're sharing. I am in learning mode. Yes, and we always keep being in learning mode. There's never an end point. There's never, oh, now I know everything. That's just how it is. And sometimes like new guides come in and they have different ways of communicating, and to learn how to communicate with them. Sometimes our like way of communicating changes. You could be like clairvoyant for 20 years, which means you see things either objectively outside of yourself or subjectively in your mind's eye. And then suddenly one day you wake up and you don't see things anymore, but you hear things. That happens too, and then you have to readjust as well. Yeah, okay. If there are no more questions, then I think we're gonna wrap it up. Remember, if you want to be notified when Spirit Guide Society opens again, click that green button, and it brings you to a landing page. It describes what Spirit Guide Society is about. There's a box where you can like give me your email address so that I can notify you when the doors open, and I will keep you in the loop about like what I'm planning for Spirit Guide Society and keep you updated. And if you want to be part of like creating this community, want to be one of the founding members, I would be super happy to have you. If you want, I forgot to mention this, if you want a one-on-one spirit guide reading with me, personal one, 60 minutes, and we get more into like depths of what your guides are, their messages, etc. I'm happy to give you a 25% discount, and you can get that discount by clicking on that same button which says get help connecting with your guides, signing up for the wait list for a Spirit Guide Society, and you'll automatically get that coupon code for 25% off. And if you want to like get daily tips, tools, and resources to connect with your guides, you can also follow me on Instagram. And here is my URL. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for coming. I had fun like always. I hope to see you next time. If you have questions in the meantime, hit me up on Instagram, send me a PM, let me know. I'm happy to help. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. Enjoy the rest of your day.